Dear friends, this is Master Aion, and in this audio, I am going to explore the most important topic of our lives, and that is the true purpose of our life. In my spiritual flight yesterday, I have realized that it is important to hit the issue on its bud, and therefore today I am going to address the most essential question of our life: that what is its purpose. Now, once this question appears, people will have different opinions. You would come across people who would say that the purpose of the life is to have a good family, the purpose of the life is to have a good job or a good business, a loving wife, children, a good car. Somebody would argue that the purpose of life is adventure, and others would say that the purpose of life is having a good body, health, and wisdom. However, I would like you to know that none of them is true. All the things that they are saying, that they are considering as the purpose of life, are basically distractions that are taking them away from the real truth. The ultimate question of life is that who are we? What are we doing here? And what is going to happen next once we die? These are the basic questions that should come to our mind as soon as we gain a bit of consciousness. But due to our conditioning of society and religion, before we gain consciousness, certain things are injected into our mind, and we spend our entire life believing that these things are true. For instance, if you are a Muslim, you are made to believe that Muhammad informed about certain ways, and through this you would be able to reach God. If you are a Hindu, you would somebody would tell you that Krishna informed you about how to be right in life in Gita. Similarly, if you are born in Christianity, your parents in your society will try to guide you that the right way of life or the purpose of life is to follow on the footsteps of Jesus. The same is true for the followers of Buddha, and the same is true for the followers of Judaism, and for everyone. However, I would argue that by doing this, by teaching them their beliefs, by teaching their children their beliefs, the society and the parents and the religion have deprived them from intellectual seeking. It is mandatory on everyone to try to find the answers of these basic questions, like what is this consciousness? What is this soul? Is there a soul? If there is a soul, how can we feel it? And is there something that is of controlling or managing that soul? Is there something that is controlling or managing that consciousness? Is there a higher soul? Is there a higher consciousness or a higher intelligence? These are existential questions that everyone need to seek. However, our society and our religion have conditioned us into believing into certain things and have taken away true analytical thinking and true spiritual seek from us. Now this seems, I totally understand that it seems very hard for anybody. It must be very hard for anybody to even listen to this thing, that whatever they have been believing in, be them Hindu, Muslim, Christians, Jews or Buddhists, whatever they have been believing in has taken them away from the true purpose of life. Because the true purpose of life was not to believe, but to seek out the truth by yourself. And everyone is so conditioned that they cannot even entertain this possibility, that whatever that have been told to them by their society and their family and their friends is actually not tried and tested. It is actually just a belief and is not something they know, and it is not something you know. Therefore, the true purpose of life is to seek answers by your own self. And no method is mandatory. The only thing that is mandatory is seek and intend to seek the answer. And not settling down on things that are being told. If you can believe, if you can understand what I am trying to say, then you are on the right path. Because in this world full of around 800 crore people, there are hardly anyone who is brave enough to consider this fact. Everybody is easy in their own conveniences. Everybody is settled in following their imaginations. But rarely there is someone who is willing to seek out the truth and the source of everything by himself. In the next audios, I will try to discuss how you can go ahead in your search of yourself and in your search of highest consciousness. Subscribe and join if your mind or your heart resonates with my thoughts. Thank you.